The conference room smells like stale coffee and broken dreams. I'm 3 slides into my presentation when Neil Hurst cuts me off with that smirk I've learned to hate. "No need to waste more time," he says, not even looking at me. His eyes are fixed on the CEO. "We already vetted this internally. It's not feasible." My hands start shaking, not from embarrassment, from pure rage. Because Neil hadn't seen my proposal until 30 minutes ago. I watched him flip through it during the pre-meeting coffee break, barely reading the executive summary before tossing it aside. The room goes silent. 12 executives stare at their laptops, suddenly fascinated by their emails. Nobody challenges Neil. Nobody asks questions. They just nod and move on to the next agenda item. I close my laptop with a soft click that sounds like thunder in the quiet room. Neil's satisfied smile burns into my memory as I gather my papers. My name is Candace Bell. I'm 33 years old, the only woman strategist in this company's leadership pipeline. And I just watched a year of my life get buried alive by office politics. But this isn't where my story ends. It's where it begins. I spend the walk back to my office replaying every second of that meeting. The dismissive wave of Neil's hand, the way he called my work not feasible without offering a single reason why. My proposal wasn't just good, it was revolutionary. A complete redesign of how we package and deliver our flagship software suite. I'd run the numbers 17 times. Conservative estimates showed at least $15 million in new revenue within the first year. But Neil didn't care about the numbers. He cared about control. See, Neil Hurst built his career on being the smartest guy in the room. He's the VP who saved 3 product launches and never lets anyone forget it. Having a junior strategist present a game-changing idea, that doesn't fit his narrative. So he killed it. Not because it was bad, because it was too good. I sit at my desk, staring at my computer screen. The proposal document is still open, cursor blinking on page 1 like it's waiting for me to give up. My desk phone rings. It's my assistant. "Candace, your husband called. He wanted to know if you're still coming to dinner tonight." I look at the clock. 7:30. I've been sitting here for 3 hours. The restaurant is nearly empty when I finally arrive. Michael looks up from his menu, takes one look at my face and signals the waiter. "Wine," he says. "The good stuff." I collapse into the chair across from him. "That bad?" he asks. "Worse." I tell him everything. The meeting, Neil's ambush, the way everyone just sat there and let it happen. Michael listens without interrupting. He's heard these stories before. This company has a way of chewing up good ideas and spitting out frustrated employees. "So what's your plan?" he asks when I finish. "I don't have one. Neil buried it. Game over." "Is it though?" Michael leans forward. "You still believe in the project, right?" "Of course I do. But then fight for it." The wine arrives. I take a long sip, letting the warmth spread through my chest. It's not that simple. There's protocol, chain of command. I can't just... Says who? Michael's voice is gentle but firm. "Candace, you've been playing by their rules for 5 years. How's that working out?" I want to argue, but he's right. Every promotion I've been passed over for, every idea that got credited to someone else, every meeting where I was talked over, playing by their rules has gotten me exactly nowhere. I spend the weekend rewriting my proposal, not the content, that was perfect, but the presentation. I strip away the corporate jargon and focus on 3 simple points: what we're building, why it matters, and how much money it will make. By Sunday night, I have a 15-page document that even a first grader could understand. Clear charts, simple language, undeniable logic. Monday morning, I print 2 copies. One goes in my desk drawer. The other goes under my arm as I walk straight to the executive floor. The CEO's assistant, Patricia, looks surprised to see me. "Candace? Do you have an appointment?" "No," I say, "but I have something Mr. Anderson needs to see." She glances at the closed door behind her. "He's pretty busy this morning." 5 minutes, I interrupt. That's all I need. Something in my voice must convince her. She knocks on the door, whispers something I can't hear, then waves me in. James Anderson is younger than I expected when he was promoted to CEO last year. Probably 45, with gray temples and tired eyes. He looks up from his computer as I enter. "Candace, right? From Strategy?" "Yes, sir. I have a proposal I'd like you to consider." I place the document on his desk. Anderson flips through the first few pages, his expression unreadable. I force myself to stay quiet, letting the numbers speak for themselves. After what feels like an hour, but is probably 3 minutes, he looks up. This is the project Neil killed in Friday's board meeting? My heart jumps. You remember? I remember everything. He leans back in his chair. I also remember thinking it was shut down pretty quickly. No discussion, no questions. Because there wasn't time for either, I say carefully. Neil made his decision before the meeting started. Anderson nods slowly. And you think this is worth pursuing? I think this could transform our entire product line. Conservative estimate? 20 million in new revenue within 18 months. He's quiet for a long moment, studying my face. You realize going around Neil like this could make things difficult for you. More difficult than watching a year of work get buried because of office politics? A small smile crosses his face. Fair point. He closes the proposal and looks at me directly. Okay, Candace, let's try it. I blink. Sir, I'm approving your project. Full budget, dedicated team, 6-month timeline. Report directly to me. I'm pretty sure I stop breathing for a few seconds. Thank you, I manage. Don't thank me yet. Make it work. I'm still floating when I get back to my desk. Patricia had promised to send the official approval email within the hour, copying Neil and the rest of the executive team. My phone buzzes with a text from Michael. How did it go? I got it, I type back. Full approval. I knew it. Dinner tonight. We're celebrating. I'm about to respond when my email chimes. The approval is here, sent to the entire leadership team. My project is officially live. I'm reading through the budget allocation when I hear heavy footsteps in the hallway. They stop right outside my office. Neil Hurst appears in my doorway. His face is red, and there's a vein pulse forehead that I've never noticed before. What the hell do you think you're doing? He hisses, stepping into my office and closing the door behind him. I save my document and look up at him calmly. Following protocol. The CEO approved my project. By going around me. By presenting a business case that got approved on its merits. Neil slams his hand on my desk, making my coffee mug jump. You have no idea what you've just started. I stand up slowly, meeting his eyes. Then I guess we'll find out together. He stares at me for another 10 seconds, then storms out, leaving my door open. The next morning, I arrive to find my first roadblock. The conference room I'd reserved for my kickoff meeting has been accidentally double-booked. The IT equipment I'd requested is delayed. My access to the budget system has been temporarily suspended for routine security updates. I spend 2 hours making phone calls, sending emails, and gently reminding various departments about the CEO's direct approval. By lunch, everything is mysteriously resolved, but I get the message. Neil is going to make this as difficult as possible. Fine. I've been dealing with difficult my entire career. I start building my team carefully. Not the obvious choices. Those people are too politically connected, too likely to report back to Neil. Instead, I recruit the quiet ones. The developers who keep their heads down and write brilliant code. The analysts who catch errors everyone else misses. My first hire is Angela Torres from Data Science. She's been passed over for promotion twice because she doesn't play the networking game, but she can make numbers dance. Why me? She asks when I offer her the lead analyst position. Because you're the best at what you do. And because I need people who care more about results than politics. She smiles. When do we start? By the end of week 2, I have my core team assembled. 5 people total, each one chosen for their skills rather than their connections. We claim a small conference room on the 3rd floor as our war room, covering the walls with flowcharts and timeline sheets. Neil tries to attend our first official planning meeting. I politely but firmly explain that this is a closed session for project team members only. I'm still your VP, he reminds me. And I report directly to the CEO on this project. I remind him back. He leaves, but not before making a note in his little black book. I know I'm accumulating enemies, but I'm also accumulating progress. Angela presents her preliminary market analysis. The numbers are even better than my original estimates. We're not just looking at 20 million in new revenue. We could be looking at a complete market shift in our favor. This is going to change everything, says Tim, our lead developer. I look around the table at these brilliant, overlooked people and feel something I haven't felt in years at this company. Hope. Then let's change everything, I say. We work until midnight, mapping out every detail of the next 6 months. Month 2 brings escalation. Our budget gets temporarily frozen for review. Key vendors suddenly have scheduling conflicts. The server space we were promised gets reassigned to another project. Each obstacle appears with Neil's fingerprints all over it, but nothing I can prove. He's too smart to leave obvious evidence. But I'm getting smarter too. I start documenting everything. Every email, every miscommunication, every convenient system failure. I create a folder on my computer labeled Insurance. The breakthrough comes when Angela discovers a loophole in our vendor contracts. We can expedite server deployment by using the emergency provisioning clause, something meant for system crashes, but technically applicable to any critical business need. It'll cost 30% more, she warns. Do it, I say without hesitation. 3 days later, we're back online and running at full capacity. Neil doesn't even know what hit him. By the end of the month, we have a working prototype. It's rough, but it proves the concept. I schedule a demo for the CEO. Already? Anderson seems surprised when I email him. We're ahead of schedule, I reply. That afternoon, I find Neil waiting by my car in the parking garage. You're playing a dangerous game, Candace. I'm not playing anything. I'm working. The demo goes perfectly. Anderson watches our prototype handle a complex packaging scenario that would normally take our current system 6 hours to process. Our version does it in 43 minutes. How is this possible, he asks. Tim jumps in with the technical explanation, but I can see Anderson's eyes glazing over. I interrupt gently. We rebuilt the core logic from scratch. Instead of processing each element separately, we treat the entire package as a single system. It's like the difference between building a car piece by piece versus designing it as a complete machine. Anderson nods. And the cost savings? Angela pulls up her spreadsheet. Based on current client volume, we estimate 12 to 15 million in reduced processing costs annually, plus an estimated 8 to 12 million in new revenue from expanded capacity. 25 million total? Anderson leans back in his chair. Conservative estimate, I say. Could be higher if we capture more market share. He's quiet for a long moment, staring at the prototype running on the conference room screen. When can you launch the full version? 3 months, I say. Make it 2. After he leaves, my team erupts in celebration. We're really doing this. But I notice the conference room door is slightly open. It was closed when we started. The final sprint is brutal. 18-hour days become normal. We practically live in that conference room, surviving on takeout and determination. Neil's sabotage attempts get more desperate. He schedules mandatory all-hands meetings during our critical development windows. He assigns my team members to other projects without warning. He even tries to have our security badges deactivated for policy violations. Each time, I escalate directly to Anderson, who overrules Neil with increasing irritation. Is there a problem I should know about? Anderson asks during one of these calls. Nothing I can't handle, I reply. But the truth is, the constant fighting is wearing me down. I'm spending half my time defending the project instead of building it. The breaking point comes when Neil schedules a routine security audit of our servers, the day before our planned launch. I call Anderson immediately. He's trying to delay the launch, I tell him. Can he do that? Technically, yes. Security audits can take weeks. Long pause. Not this time. I'll handle it. An hour later, Neil's audit is canceled. But now I know we're in an all-out war. Launch day arrives on a Tuesday morning in March. The entire executive team gathers in the main conference room to watch our system go live. I've barely slept in 3 days, but adrenaline keeps me sharp. Angela runs final checks on the monitoring systems, while Tim handles the technical deployment. All systems green, Tim announces. Client connections stable, adds Angela. I take a deep breath. Okay, everyone, let's change the world. I click the activation button. For the first hour, everything runs smoothly. Our new system processes orders faster than anyone expected. Client feedback is immediately positive. Then, at 11:47 a.m., Neil stands up. I hate to interrupt this celebration, he says, but I think we should discuss the obvious security vulnerabilities in this system. The room goes quiet. Anderson looks at me. What security vulnerabilities? I ask. Neil pulls out a tablet. Our preliminary review identified 17 potential breach points. This system isn't ready for production deployment. My heart sinks. He's found a way to kill the launch after all. But then Tim speaks up from the back of the room. Excuse me, sir, but what preliminary review? Neil's face changes. The security assessment I ordered last month. Sir, Tim continues politely, I handle all our security protocols. No assessment was ever conducted on this system. Murmurs around the room. Anderson leans forward. Neil, can you provide documentation for this assessment? For the first time since I've known him, Neil Hurst looks uncertain. It's still being compiled. Then perhaps we should table this discussion until you have actual evidence. Anderson says coolly. The room is dead silent. Neil realizes he's been caught in an obvious lie in front of the entire executive team. He sits down without another word. Our launch continues. By the end of day 1, we've processed more orders than our old system handled in a typical week. By the end of week 1, we've generated $2.3 million in new revenue. By the end of month 1, that number hits $8.7 million. Neil doesn't attend any of the celebration meetings. I start to think we might actually win this thing. The success brings unexpected challenges. Media attention, industry awards, speaking requests. Suddenly everyone wants to know about our revolutionary approach to product packaging. Anderson asks me to represent the company at the National Software Conference in Chicago. It's a huge honor, but it also means a week away from the office. Are you sure it's safe to leave? Michael asks as I pack. It's 1 week, what could happen? Famous last words. I'm delivering my keynote speech to 800 industry professionals when my phone starts buzzing with emergency texts. Angela, Tim, even Patricia from the CEO's office. All saying the same thing, call immediately. I finish my speech, excuse myself from the networking lunch, and call Angela from a quiet hotel room. Neil's making his move, she says without preamble. He called an emergency review of our project, claims there are compliance issues that require immediate shutdown. My blood turns cold. Can he do that? He's trying. The meeting's in 2 hours. I check my watch. Even if I leave for the airport right now, I can't make it back in time. Stall him, I say. Find a way to delay the meeting. How? I don't know. But whatever you do, don't let him shut us down. I spend the longest 3 hours of my life in Chicago O'Hare Airport, frantically making phone calls and sending emails from the departure gate. Angela works miracles. She finds a legitimate compliance question about our data storage protocols and insists it needs legal review before any shutdown decisions can be made. The emergency meeting gets postponed until the next morning. I land at 11 p.m. and drive straight to the office, where I find my team still working by the light of their laptops. What's our position? I ask. Tim pulls up the compliance documentation. We're actually fine. Better than fine. Our protocols exceed industry standards in 12 out of 14 categories. Then why is Neil doing this? Angela answers grimly, because the monthly numbers came in today. We hit $12.4 million in new revenue. The board wants to expand the project company-wide. Now I understand. Neil isn't trying to fix compliance issues. He's trying to position himself as the leader of our success story. He wants to take over the project, I realize. Gets worse, Tim adds. He's been telling people the security concerns were his idea. Claims he was protecting the launch with proper oversight. I sit down heavily. After months of fighting Neil's sabotage, he's now trying to claim credit for our success. But I have one advantage he doesn't know about. That insurance folder. The compliance meeting convenes at 9 a.m. sharp. Neil arrives with 3 lawyers and a stack of documents thicker than a phone book. I arrive with my laptop and a thumb drive. Before we discuss compliance, I say, I think the executive team should see the full context of this project's development. Anderson nods. Proceed. I plug in the thumb drive and open the first document. This is the original proposal as submitted to the board meeting 6 months ago. As you can see, Neil recommended rejection based on feasibility concerns. Heads turn toward Neil. He shifts uncomfortably. Next, we have email records showing repeated attempts to delay, defund, and derail the project after CEO approval. I click through a series of screenshots. Emails canceling our budget, messages reassigning team members, requests for unnecessary security audits. Finally, I continue, we have documented instances of misinformation, including yesterday's claim about security assessments that were never conducted. The room is completely quiet except for the hum of the projector. Anderson speaks first. Neil, do you have a response to these allegations? Neil clears his throat. I was exercising appropriate oversight? By lying about security reviews? Anderson's voice is sharp. I was protecting the company from premature deployment of untested systems. Systems that have now generated over $12 million in revenue? Neil has no answer for that. Anderson closes his laptop. This meeting is over. The project continues as planned. Within a week, everything changes. The board officially expands our project into a full product division. Anderson calls me into his office with an offer I never saw coming. We want you to head the new division, he says simply. I stare at him. That's Neil's level. Neil's level was Senior VP. This is Executive VP. You'd be running all product development and strategy. The words don't quite register. What about Neil? Neil will be transitioning to a consulting role with reduced responsibilities. I try to process what he's saying. You're promoting me to replace him? I'm promoting you to replace what he should have been. The new role comes with a corner office, a team of 47 people, and equity stakes in all future product launches. It's more than I ever dreamed possible. But the best part isn't the title or the money. It's the look on Neil's face when the announcement goes out. For the first time in 6 months, he has absolutely nothing to say. My first week as his executive VP is a whirlwind of meetings, introductions, and strategic planning sessions. The corner office feels surreal. 6 months ago, I was fighting for conference room time. Neil maintains professional courtesy, but barely. He attends required meetings and provides status updates when asked, but the dynamic has fundamentally shifted. He's no longer the smartest guy in the room. He's just another employee reporting to someone he tried to destroy. The irony isn't lost on anyone. During my first leadership team meeting, I present a roadmap for expanding our success into 3 additional product lines. Conservative projections show potential for $60 million in new revenue over the next 2 years. This is exactly the kind of forward thinking we need, Anderson tells the room. After the meeting, Neil approaches me privately. I hope you realize what you've gotten yourself into, he says. I know exactly what I've gotten myself into, I reply. The question is, do you? He doesn't answer. 2 weeks later, I receive his resignation letter. No explanation, no farewell speech. Just a 2-sentence notification that his last day will be Friday. He cleans out his office after hours, when most people have gone home. I don't see him leave. 6 months into my new role, the numbers speak for themselves. Our expanded product division has generated over $30 million in new revenue. Industry publications call our approach transformational. Harvard Business School wants to write a case study. But the real satisfaction isn't in the headlines or the recognition. It's in the team I've built. People like Angela, who got promoted to Chief Analytics Officer. Tim, who now leads our entire development department. The quiet, overlooked professionals who finally have a chance to show what they can do. We've created something I never had in my early career. A workplace where good ideas matter more than office politics. My assistant knocks on my door. Candace? There's someone here to see you. I look up to see Neil Hurst standing in my doorway. 6 months of unemployment have aged him. His suit is less expensive, his confidence notably diminished. I was hoping we could talk, he says. I gesture to the chair across from my desk. Of course. How can I help you? It's a simple question, but we both hear the power dynamic in it. He sits down carefully. I wanted to apologize for how I handled things, for how I treated you. I study his face, looking for sincerity. I appreciate that. I also wanted to ask if you might consider a consulting arrangement. I have some ideas that could benefit your division. I let Neil's request hang in the air for a moment. 6 months ago, he was trying to bury my career. Now he's asking for my help to save his. What kind of consulting arrangement? I ask. He pulls out a folder, much thinner than his old presentations. Process optimization. Client relations. I still have connections in the industry. I flip through his proposal. It's not terrible, but it's also not necessary. We have everything covered internally. Neil, I say gently, I don't think this is the right fit for us. His face falls. Because of our history? Because we don't need what you're offering, but I'd be happy to provide references for other opportunities. It's a diplomatic no, but we both understand it's final. He stands up slowly. I suppose I deserved that. It's not about deserving anything. It's about business needs. After he leaves, I sit quietly in my corner office, looking out at the city skyline. 2 years ago, I was the one being dismissed and overlooked. Now I'm the one making decisions about other people's careers. The difference is, I actually considered his proposal on its merits. That's all I ever wanted from him. A year later, our division is featured on the cover of Business Innovation magazine. The headline reads, "The 33-year-old VP who changed everything." The article details our journey from rejected proposal to industry leadership. It quotes Anderson extensively about the importance of recognizing talent regardless of hierarchy or politics. Candace didn't just save one project, he tells the reporter. She showed us how to think differently about innovation itself. The article mentions Neil only in passing, as the former VP whose position was eliminated during organizational restructuring. I'm quoted in the final paragraph. Success isn't about beating the competition. It's about building something better than what existed before. Michael frames the magazine cover and hangs it in our kitchen. Every morning over coffee, I see that headline and remember the conference room where this all started. The smirk on Neil's face when he dismissed my proposal. The trembling in my hands as I realized he'd never even read it. The decision to fight back instead of giving up. Some days, I wonder what would have happened if I'd stayed quiet, accepted the rejection, moved on to other projects. But then I think about the team I lead now, the innovations we've created, the careers we've launched. I made the right choice. 2 years after Neil's resignation, I receive an unexpected email. It's from a startup accelerator in Austin, where Neil has apparently found work as a mentor for early-stage companies. "I've been following your success," he writes. "I wanted you to know that I use your story as an example for entrepreneurs who face resistance to their ideas. I tell them, never give up on something you believe in." It's a strange message from the man who tried to bury my belief, but I appreciate the acknowledgement. I write back briefly, "I'm glad you found meaningful work. Best wishes for your continued success." I don't mention that his resistance nearly destroyed my career. Some things don't need to be relitigated. The important thing is that we've both moved forward. He's found a way to contribute positively to other people's dreams. I've built something that will outlast both of our careers. That feels like enough closure. At this year's company holiday party, Anderson announces my promotion to Senior Executive Vice President. It comes with a seat on the board of directors and oversight of all technology initiatives. 3 years ago, he tells the assembled crowd, Candace Bell walked into my office with a proposal that everyone said was impossible. Today, that impossible idea has generated over $50 million in new revenue and transformed how we do business. The applause is genuine and sustained. I look out at faces I recognize, my team, my colleagues, people who've watched this entire journey unfold. In the back of the room, I spot Patricia, Anderson's assistant, who let me into his office that first day. She gives me a thumbs up and a knowing smile. After the ceremony, she approaches me at the reception. "I always wondered," she says, "what made you so determined that morning? Most people would have given up after getting shot down in the board meeting." I think about her question. I guess I realized that giving up was the only way to guarantee failure. Fighting back at least gave me a chance. Was it worth it? All the conflict, all the stress? I look around the room at the people whose careers have flourished under our new approach. At the innovations we've launched, the problems we've solved, the future we're building. Every minute of it. 5 years after that first rejected proposal, I'm invited to speak at my alma mater's business school graduation ceremony. The theme is turning obstacles into opportunities. Standing at the podium, looking out at 300 eager faces, I think about what I wish someone had told me at their age. You will face people who underestimate you, I tell them. People who dismiss your ideas before they understand them. People who mistake quiet confidence for weakness. I pause, remembering my own graduation day, when I was full of ideas but had no idea how to fight for them. When that happens, you have a choice. You can accept their assessment and adjust your dreams accordingly, or you can prove them wrong. I tell them about Neil, about the rejected proposal, about the decision to go directly to the CEO. I'm not suggesting you ignore hierarchy or disrespect authority. I'm suggesting you distinguish between legitimate feedback and political sabotage. After the ceremony, a young woman approaches me. She's holding a folder that looks familiar. I have a business proposal, she says nervously. My professors say it's too ambitious for someone my age, but I believe in it. I smile and accept her folder. Let's find somewhere quiet to talk. As we walk toward the faculty lounge, I think about cycles and second chances, about how the story never really ends, it just finds new protagonists. Today, I sit in the same conference room where Neil Hurst once dismissed my proposal. But now it's my conference room, in my division, hosting my monthly leadership team meeting. The walls are covered with whiteboards showing our latest innovations. Revenue charts trending consistently upward. Awards and recognitions from industry organizations. Most importantly, photos from team celebrations. Product launches, promotion announcements, the human moments that make all the numbers meaningful. Angela presents our quarterly results. 68 million in new revenue, with projections for over 100 million next year. Not bad for an idea that wasn't feasible, Tim jokes. Everyone laughs, but I remember that day too clearly for it to be entirely funny. After the meeting, I stay behind to update my notes. The room is quiet except for the hum of the air conditioning and the distant sound of typing from nearby offices. I open my laptop and create a new document. Lessons learned. At the top, I type, never let someone else define what's possible. Then I add, but also, never use your success to diminish someone else's dreams. I think about Neil, wherever he is now. About the young woman from the graduation ceremony, whose proposal I forwarded to our innovation committee with a strong recommendation. About all the quiet professionals still sitting in meetings, watching their ideas get dismissed by people who never bothered to understand them. The cycle continues, but maybe each iteration gets a little better. Maybe that's enough. Maybe that's everything.